Hello and welcome. This is, you're watching a chat, video chat here, and this is for our sort of VIP audience here on Zoom and be rebroadcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and more. For those of you here on the Zoom call, feel free to type in your comments or questions, and we'll try to get to them as we're talking. First off, I'm Peter Fosso. I'm Music2Deal US representative and founder of several music companies, including globalmusicproject.org, where we give musical instruments to the underprivileged around the world. And Music2Deal is actually growing its US team. So if you do have a lot of music industry contacts and want thousands more, contact me to learn more about becoming a Music2Deal representative. So let's jump right in. Today, it's my privilege to have with us Allen Johnston, and he's the music specialist. As you may know, he's well known amongst here at Music2Deal and around the industry. He's been an industry consultant in the US, consulting various entertainment businesses. He has over 4 decades of experience with music development, licensing, sales, promotion, distributing for national and international markets. So he's worked with many different record labels, including Arista, Capitol, EMI America, Mercury, Sony, Warner Brothers, and many more. That's to start off a few. Welcome, Allen. Good to see you.
Hi-ho!
Good to have you here, and you're joining us from what part of the country?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. All right. I'm actually in Stockholm, Sweden at the moment, but from Seattle, Washington originally. So let's jump right in. Let's talk a bit about the current state of the music industry. You know, what comes to mind for you before we jump into kind of what you've been working on and stuff, and just sort of the global view of the industry right now?
You died out just for a moment, so I didn't hear the question.
Let's talk about this current state of the music industry. What's the first thing that comes to mind that's positive? I should say. No.
Oh, that's positive. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The first
well, we
thing
all
that
know
comes
we've
to
had
my
some
mind
challenges.
is that, yeah, well, quite a few.
Yeah.
But the first thing positive that comes to my mind is the ability to now make money from almost anywhere on the planet with your music.
Mm.
That's the very first thing that comes to mind. Coupled with the idea that there's so many different platforms now that are allowing you to get money in a foreign currency, and they automatically exchange it into the currency of the country that you live in. For years, that had been a real issue.
Mm.
And now it's just simply Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, and so many more.
And probably move toward cryptocurrencies more and more in the future, I imagine.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if cryptocurrency and the music industry are really going to embrace one another.
Mm. Yeah, we'll see. And and let's talk a little bit about what you just said. So what would be some of these ways that people might make money?
What would be
some of the ways
some of the places?
These money-making ways?
Well, streaming is the very first one.
Mm.
Streaming is universal now. And the ability to get on individual platforms in separate countries is becoming easier and easier every day.
Mm.
So streaming, downloading somewhat. I don't know if there are many downloads left, but I do see that the next major movement is going to be the collection of royalties from sync licensing for the individual independent. Right now, it's huge for major companies, huge money. But I see it's going to change up for the independents, possibly in the next 2 years. I mean, I think we're in the change now.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, independent artists have moved the music industry since the inception. Since the time when minstrels were traveling the country, whatever country you're living in, and going from town to town, they were independent musicians making money from their performances. And then people heard their new music and copied their music within those countries and cities. And so that part has never really changed. We've had major labels, and we call them major labels, but in my reality, they have become major profit centers, and they are not creating music. Independents are creating music. They're creating music and they're creating video. Then a major label becomes a bank and brings you in and takes the majority of the funds that are created about it. I do understand that majors market and promote and put money into marketing and promotion. But I personally don't think it's ever fair. And I've worked for almost every one of the majors that's out there. Which takes me to another direction. But we've just created a company based in Atlanta, but we've got representatives around the country in the United States that is going to the major labels and requesting the end of the contracts that they currently have older artists under, and a total revision and a relook at that contract to bring more funds back to the artists. So master ownership, publishing ownership, those are big issues. And the majority of the majors, their first contract took both. They took the master and the publishing. And quite a few of them have not changed. They've not given those things back. In fact, they've sold them. I might do a deal with Peter Fosso, who does a deal with Darrell Pert and sells my stuff to Darrell. And Darrell uses it for so long, and then he sells it over to Mark Antonius. So those deals are happening, but the original owner and creator of the music is losing money. So yeah, I've got a couple of accountants and 4 attorneys, and we're going after some of the other labels to get them to do things and change up. One of the best things that has happened to us has been the Black Lives Matters movement, the BLM movement, because that's made labels now think about how they have structured their deals and how they should go back and restructure. And I said Black Lives Matter, but this is across the board. Black, white, yellow, red, any kind of man there is that's made music or woman has the same issues.
Yeah. Going back quite a ways, of course, and Motown and so on.
Well, Madame, we've talked about that earlier prior to this interview launching, but Madame was created for publishers. That's what it was created for. It was never created for record labels.
Hmm.
The whole Madame situation was publishers getting together and passing music among one another to make more money. At that point, the point of creation, the creator of the music was cut out. I mean, it's just the reality.
Hmm.
2019 was my 21st year going to Madame. And in those 21 years, I've watched music that the artist had no idea was being sold in other countries.
Hmm.
I watched blues catalogs, I watched rock and roll catalogs. When hip hop came, it was phenomenal, the amount of hip hop that was literally stolen.
Hmm.
And the rock industry is what happened in the UK with rock and roll allowed so many of their artists to get their music placed in other countries, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, and they had no knowledge that they were doing sales then. I mean, as I said, the publishers created that situation and then went back within their own countries and created record labels so that they could make more money from other songs they had gotten from other people.
Interesting. And I mean, you mentioned streaming. Of course, you don't necessarily see that as a large revenue stream, correct?
It's the largest revenue stream. It's the second largest revenue stream on the planet.
Meaning for the artist being streamed.
Meaning for the music industry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because in 2016 at Madame, I got an abrupt awakening. People were talking about streaming. CDs were still in. I sat down and listened to a couple of guys talk in the VIP lounge. I always just sit and listen. And that abrupt awakening was that they were talking in the billions of streams. Mm-hmm. And you got artists walking around talking about thousands. Mm-hmm. I got 3,000 streams, man. I'm real happy. And these guys are making billions of dollars because they got stream after stream. They are now talking quadrillion. I may not even say the word right because I don't think I'll ever make that kind of money. But they're talking that many streams now. Mm-hmm. And where's all that money going, man? It's not coming back to the artists.
Yeah, no, I always felt it should more than it does. That's for sure. I'm here, sitting in the land of Spotify here in Stockholm, Sweden. They're up the street. The artist or the office there where it all started. But it's certainly that actually needs to be reworked. Maybe you can add that to your chores. So, and speaking of like revenue for artists and that sort of thing, what do you see as, you've been doing this quite a while now, do you see artists, what do they do wrong? What are they missing out? What are the opportunities they're missing out on average that they should be doing? So that's your kind of key area, right? When you sit down with an artist, you're going to talk to them probably about what they're doing right and what they're probably not thinking.
Yeah, quite. Okay, so I'm not your average consultant. We can say that.
Okay.
But I see that the first thing I find quite a few artists doing is they have a world or two themselves. They don't want to communicate with other people. And based on that non-communication, they start shooting themselves in the foot. They're not making themselves have the ability to move into other avenues. You want your song played over and over and over and over again. This has never changed. From the time people, and I go back to this historically, from the time people had mandolins and violins and were going through the countrysides with tambourines and drums, they wanted their songs sung over and over again that they created. That has never changed. We want the same thing now, except now you can check on your song and supposedly make money from every time it gets played. That's what the stream is. I tell my clients first thing is to lose the attitude. The attitude that you're better than anyone else, that your song is the best song on earth, is not the attitude. I think the attitude should be, I want to work harder than anyone else so that I can get my product played, so that I can stream, so that I can make more friends. Friends equal fans. Fans can become super fans, which is what I'm always telling every one of my clients they want. They want the fan that wants to buy the music, that wants to stream it, that wants to make sure the video gets seen over and over again, that wants to buy your t-shirt, that wants to buy tickets to your shows, that wants to talk with you, find time to interact with you. That's a super fan. That's the kind of person that'll spend $1,000 a year just on you. And 100 of those is a good salary. It's 100 grand a year. So I'm not trying to change the business. I'm just trying to focus the artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you see the mistake being made usually when someone comes to you? What are they usually not doing that they should be doing?
Very first thing is communicating. Quite a few of them are not communicating. They don't create any kind of team structure around themselves. I get so many people that tell me, I tried that already. I'm not going to do that again. I've had clients tell me, we don't want to build a business. We want to jump straight over that and go straight to the deal. And that is just stupidity in my business. You can't go straight to the deal and you don't have a team to back it up. If you got a deal with Sony, you're only going to be good for about 2 months. I mean, that's going to be 8 weeks is about the time you're going to get airplay, which so many people want airplay. And I don't understand that at all now. I am personally under the idea that if the radio is playing your song, you're losing streams. Because the people that listen on the radio don't necessarily want to hear it streamed. They want to listen to the radio. I tell my clients that the radio is the last place we go with a product. We want to create streams around them and different platforms and create different ways of getting streams. When they made the rule that 30 seconds equals a stream, then I started telling my clients, I want you to do 45-second videos. I want you to do 1-minute takes with your music in the background. I want you to do many things with the same song, to get that same song played over and over and over and over again. It's working. It's worked. We did, I got a guy right now that's got a COVID song out, and we're starting to do very well with it. He comes out of Bangladesh, and it's really, it's not as commercial as people think it is until they see the video and hear the hook. And that's what I had him do. He created a video with his daughter, and we played the hook. And we'll take 45 seconds out of the song, and it's being played in several different countries now. India has started to come in, and that it's phenomenal what they'll do over the cell phones.
You mean like as a ringtone or?
No, I mean like streaming via the cell phones. Cell phone streaming, mobile streams make up, I would venture to say, over 75% of what real streaming is. If you're listening to Spotify, you're normally listening over your cell phone, your mobile phone. If you're on Deezer, it's over your mobile phone. In fact, Deezer in the United States goes through Clear Digital, which is a cell phone company. Rod White says TikTok is the best way to push your music with a 30-second clip. And it's a good way. I don't think it's the best way. It's another one of the tools. But these tools change almost weekly.
Yeah, do you think there is a best way, or does it
I think
market and everything else?
I think every artist needs to develop their own separate marketing plan. And in our company, that's one of the things that we live by. Each marketing plan is customized and individualized. You'll hear me say that a lot if you come around to see it, because that's exactly what we feel. There's no one shoe fits all for anybody now in the music industry. And the people that still believe that are really not making money. I mean, let's look at the biggest streaming sellers out there. Drake, what's the girl's name? I know you know who I'm talking about. Taylor Swift. They're creating multiple versions of their same song.
Well, and merchandise. Drake has his cologne now, right?
All of that, whatever they can do.
Yeah.
The business has changed where you got to have multiple revenue streams. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What else comes to mind in ways that you can promote artists, or what you've been doing, and what an artist can do for themselves?
Our company has done a couple of things. First of all, I'm a big believer in family. And so I brought my family into my business. I have a nephew that has taken over what I see as one of the main drivers for music now, and that is the religious arena. Gospel, Christian, and clean lyrics. I found out after dealing with so many different people in so many different countries, English is played in almost every country. But the English that uses foul language is being rejected. The platforms are rejecting it. I went into Korea with a hip hop song. Great song, but the platform rejected it based on the lyric structure. They don't want their children to even understand what that word was in English.
Mm.
So I think the direction now around the world is becoming more using music to create ideas within the world establishment and to start bringing over a younger demographic that works together. I remember when there were love songs, there were family songs, where there were protest songs that were being played in regular rotation. Today, a love song is about sex. I have not heard a family song, I don't think, in the last 15 years.
Hmm.
Not in any regular rotation. Protest songs are hit and miss because so many people now are shutting you down. They don't like what you say, they cut you out of the platform. I think that's the direction all the music is going to go, though. I think that because we're making these restrictions, the kids are going to be rebellious against the restrictions. And that's probably one of the best things that's happened to our industry. We'll find more and more songs happening that are going to have some kind of meaning behind them, that are going to be directed toward a cause, that are going to bring more people together instead of you're in one country and I don't like you because I'm in another country. That's stupidity.
Hmm.
I hope I'm answering your questions, man. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, absolutely. Yeah, all you need is love.
Yeah, when was the last time you heard that song?
Well, I listen to a lot of Beatles, so
Oh, in your house, on your playlist.
Yeah, on my own playlist.
But not commercially.
Yeah.
How many of our writers are making those type of songs?
Right.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm getting to. We've got to have, I don't think that we can preach that. I think that because so many people are going in the opposite direction, we're going to create a whole cadre of young writers and young musicians that are going to automatically start doing these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you tell them they can't. That's the best way to get somebody to do something. Tell them they can't do it.
Yeah, musicians, we're all rebels.
Yeah, all rebels. Yahoo!
So, and you mentioned before about licensing. Like, do you see that as sort of the key?
Oh, licensing.
In this era, if people aren't really performing live much, do you think they should be pursuing licensing more than?
I think they should perform more too.
Hmm.
I brought up my nephew.
Offline?
Yeah, online.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you can do offline, you can now video easily.
Mm-hmm.
We all got these handheld computers. And because you can video them easily, that video then becomes a performance that you can play online.
Yeah.
And if you've noticed, the major Facebook now has a make money on Facebook. Play your song on Facebook and you can charge for it. They have a new system in place.
Mm.
I see that's going to be a major movement for music around the world. Not just Facebook, but other platforms also.
Mm.
Sync licensing. Okay, I want to go say this about Facebook. Facebook says you can either play your own music that you own 100%, or the music that they have cleared. I have not seen the cleared list yet.
Hmm.
So you literally will be able to play your own music in your living room, film yourself, and charge people to see you on Facebook. There are several other platforms that are available right now. Stage It is one.
I like Stage It. Yeah.
Yeah, Stage
Yeah,
It is
like
one.
tip jar
I
kind
don't
of thing.
see many youth or people of color or religious-based people utilizing it.
Hmm.
I see a lot of country-based artists. I see a lot of rock and roll.
Hmm.
Occasionally, I will see a singer-songwriter playing guitar or keyboard. And today, it may be today, and maybe in 2 days, Bootsy Collins is from Parliament Funkadelics is going to do a Stage It.
Nice.
But I use Stage It. I use Facebook and YouTube to do the same thing. And then we also use a company out of the Ukraine called Show For Me. And we've done 19 shows on Show For Me in the last 4 months. Every show was a profit making. The artist made money because it cost them literally nothing to make money, to utilize the platform.
Yeah, can you say a little bit more about that for the people that don't know about?
Show, SHOW, the number 4, ME.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that platform has been, it's a good base for fans. I'm turning a lot of my clients onto it as an addition to everything else that they're doing, not as a stand-up solo platform. Thanks, Richard. Mm-hmm. So, that platform allows you to build your fan base. Fans can pay you from $1, well, they can come in free or pay you from $1 to whatever you want to set now to be your fan for a year and get special things from you. And it allows the artist to be creative. Here's an example. I've got a rap artist called Nisha Nice. Nisha Nice. Female hip hop artist. She did a show. She did $3 tickets, $5 ticket, and I'll call your name out during the show. She had, her relatives want their names called out, so they $5 tickets. $10 tickets, and I'll call your name out during the show, and I'll send you a button. I want you guys to see the button. I put my hands on it anytime this month. You get a button that you can, hers says Nisha Nice. I got mine to say music specialist.
Yeah.
So that's for $10.
Yeah.
All right, for $20, you got all of the stuff we just talked about and a 10-minute Zoom call privately with the artist after the show. Hmm. She set up 10 of those $20 sessions, sold out the first day, and had to go set up 10 more that she sold out the second day. That's $400, and it cost her literally nothing to do it. Not counting the other $10, $5, and $3 that she was incurring. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of idea we've been doing. We did not do the live show. We recorded the show. That way you don't have any issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Show For Me works for quite a few others. Now, sync licensing is just an addition to that because it's your own music. you've published it, you've coded it or encoded it so that it can be picked up. Et cetera, et cetera. And then they got, Triller, which is a platform that was based for gamers. But people are running their videos on Triller making money now.
Mm.
Mark asked the question, it was a nice idea, but why start so low? You got to drive traffic, Mark. You got to build traffic. I've had a platform come to me called The Spark, and they want to start at $25. The issue is people are not going to pay them $25 to see something online right now. It's just not happening. Even Bootsy Collins is only doing a $10 show.
Mm.
So I understand you want to make money, but now it's about numbers instead of a high ticket price. It's about numbers and creating multiple revenue streams.
May I say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for answering my question. And hi from Germany here in Frankfurt. I'm working with an artist who is not as famous as Bootsy Collins, but we are charging 21 euro and 35 euro per ticket for an online streaming show. And so I think it's possible, but it depends on the type of fans, the type of fan base. If it's a young fan base, they won't pay for it. He has a fan base normally aged between 35 and 60. So it's people who are used or still used to pay for music. And in his earlier days, he was a member of a famous a cappella band here in Germany, and now he's playing solo or in a duo format. And we experience with him great success with also $20 tickets. But I know what you mean. If we would make it cheaper, maybe we can also reach more people. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Alan?
I agree with him. If he's making money, make money. I'm not individualized and customized.
Yeah.
Every promotion is like that.
Yeah.
It's I said that earlier, it's no one sock fits all feet.
Mm.
In this particular situation now, a lot of the artists that I deal with are on a younger level. I do have a older blues audience that we deal with. And a medium, and I say medium is between, to me, 25 and 40 audience that does a lot of the Christian. And I'm finding the same issue there, is that they'll come in and we can build the audience with a lower fee and then upcharge them when they're into the platform. I'm also a fan of what's called the tip jar.
Yeah, like Stage It has.
Yeah, except.
Is that stageit.com, by the way? Is that the URL? In case people don't know Stage It, I think it's stageit.com. Stageit.com. No, I don't know. I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, and keep going. The tip jar, yes.
Yeah, but you can do a tip jar with any platform. And I believe that the tip jar should go to the artists, 100%. Some of these other platforms are taking a percentage of your tips. I think that's not right.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah, I
you're
guess
driving
that's
traffic to their platform.
if it needs to go through a payment gateway and everything, then maybe they have some administrative costs, but
Exactly, if you're going through their platform's payment gate.
hmm,
But a good tip jar goes directly to the Cash App or PayPal of the artist,
hmm,
going around that payment gate.
yeah, yeah, that's good. It's good.
Sync licensing is not only movies, movie trailers, televisions, commercial, but sync now has become huge in the educational field. It's really starting to build out. There are so many different ways now to get online, to get your music heard and streamed that will allow you to make revenue.
What's an example of the educational field?
Online museum,
Hmm,
a class on how to make a pot of stew, how to cook. The music in the background on that gets paid.
hmm,
Just think about it. If your song is heard 30 seconds or more on any of these platforms, they're supposed to give you some payment.
hmm,
So an educational platform is really large. And now we're going to remote learning around the world. Who knows when they're going to open up schools again? Who knows if they are going to open up schools again?
Well, you'll always have these online platforms also, things like Khan Academy and stuff that are growing all the time.
Exactly. But I'm saying that the pandemic has caused a whole nother situation.
Hmm,
I mean, we looked at Microsoft. Microsoft said there were more people in the last 3 months going online than there have been in the last 3 years total.
hmm,
Microsoft said that, so I believe them.
hmm.
And I think that that's just another audience for all of the music and music video creators.
Yeah.
Besides popular music, I think, and I'm telling quite a few people, we need to look at new classical music. We need to look at new instrumentals, because there are so many other things that music needs to be behind. So many things are going on across the net, the web, and they want music to catch your attention.
Hmm. And how do we artists reach these people?
Well, the first thing to do is join Music2Deal,
Hmm,
because there's so many people on Music2Deal for you to go find and interact with.
hmm,
Just the amount we have right now online talking, a deal is going to come out of this somewhere.
hmm.
Just because we meet and talk. Mario had a VIP meeting a couple of months back, and 2 deals came out of that right away, just because we talked about it. Even Mario did an interview with a company based on conversation that came out of that meeting.
Right.
So I think that's it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, back to my initial statement, we need to communicate more. So communications between artists opens up avenues for more people to get more deals. After going to Medem, one of my good friends, Karen Marie Mason, opened up a Facebook page called Artist Launch. And we started out with about 8 people. We're almost at 4,000 now. And
Nice.
they're all professionals, all trying to do things. So we're exchanging ideas. We're making, when opportunities come, We show them in the group so that the group now has a chance to get the opportunities earlier than other folks. Those are the kind of ideas I think helps.
Yeah, you really believe in these online platforms.
Because that's where people are.
Yeah. I know.
You know, if they were down at the corner store, I'd believe in the corner store.
Yeah.
You know, why not use what we have? And it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You know, best case scenario with this vaccine, whatever's in the bottles, but with this vaccine, sometime next fall, the country is supposed to start coming back around. Because they're saying that in the United States and in the UK alone, the masses won't even get their first shot until summer of 2021. And if it's a 2-shot situation, then you're still going to have to wait almost 2 months before anything else out there happens.
Well, we'll see how that all pans out.
Yeah.
But one thing is for sure, or at least people say, is that we've forwarded technology because of all this. And so we can probably expect more things to be online even after everything's sort of quote unquote back to normal.
Yeah, that goes back to my point about the education.
Yeah. And online platforms.
Yeah, I think that school is going to go more online and that there are going to be places for children to go to socialize offline. School may morph into 3 days online, 2 days meeting a building. It may morph into, who knows, but it's not going to be what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of these online platforms and the changes in the future, who do you think people should be meeting on these platforms? Who should the artists be contacting? Should they be networking with other artists or trying to find a manager if they don't have a manager? Licensing?
Customized and individualized.
Yes.
So when you go to these online platforms, normally the first person you're going to meet are the people that have the same thing in common that you do. So if you're an artist, they're normally going to be artists. But between them, they start asking questions. And that's the whole idea when you communicate. You start asking questions. Do I need a manager? Well, if I do, who do you know? And those kind of things happen. If there was one exact way for me to tell you, I would, but every artist and every songwriter, every publisher has a different story. That's what makes this industry so wonderful, man. I mean, I love this business. I don't do the same thing 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah,
and it shows the importance that each person needs to be on their own path. Right?
Exactly. Somebody just asked a question, does a songwriter need a publisher, need a publicist? And I think that publicity has changed. Publicity started with, we're going to get you on television, we're going to get you in the newspapers, we're going to get you reviews, to I can get you 5,000 email blasts. I can get you so many views on YouTube. I can get you, that's what publicity changed into. And I think now it's going to continue to change. so that a good publicist now will help create that vision you need around you, whether you're a songwriter, an artist, a publisher, a distributor. They'll create that story around you and then find the places to put that story to assist you to grow your business. So that's the long answer. The short answer is yes. Everyone can use a publicist. Everyone can use the ability to start getting other folks to know more about your business.
Let's talk a bit about the advantages of certain people in the industry, having relationships with certain people in the industry. I mean, on Music2Deal, often we'll use, we provide a matching tool which allows for sort of opposites to attract in a way, so that it'll see that, you know, match a manager to an artist, for example, or see that you need a music supervisor or things like this, and make certain recommendations. But do you think artists should be pursuing music supervisors and managers, or managers should be, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they should be pursuing as many people as they can put into their realm, especially music supervisors, other publishers. And I think that you need to make friends. Going back, because I always look at stuff historically, and I see that a lot of things, names have changed, but the actions don't change. So going back, one of the things I did when I first started my business many years ago, and I had people working for me, I tell them to put a mirror on their desk. And we communicated by phone. And I said, look in that mirror and smile before you pick up the phone. Be happy when you talk to people. Now, when you call the radio station, because we had to call every week to the radio station to find out what was going on with our music. When you call a radio station, treat the person that answers the phone just like they own the station. Don't be upset with the secretary. Make them your friend. Same thing if you're dealing with a performing rights organization. Treat the secretary like they're your friend. So when it starts happening, you got that happy smile on your face. It comes across in your talking. It comes across that the person that you're talking to becomes your friend. I watch the operator at CSAC over the course of 3 years become the Atlanta director. That's how fast she moved up. I was her friend when she was an operator. Found out, and I do little things, stupid things, they called it like that. Found out that she liked the color purple. So I had purple flowers sent over to her one day, just for her, not for anybody else there. Because she made sure when I called, she made sure that I got through to the person I wanted to talk with. I didn't get on the he'll call you back list. That changed how we did business. And when she became director, I started getting direct opportunities for my CSAC writers. So I believe in it.
Yeah, very interesting. One question before we open it up to more questions from people that are watching. Where do you see the future of the industry?
I see that music is going to change, and it's going to be, one, beamed directly into your brain. I think that, in fact, they have a new speaker out now that you can be in a room with someone and it will beam directly to you, and no one else in the room can hear.
Yeah, I was just reading.
I think that that's only going to grow larger. I think that people are going to find music for their life. and that music is going to be the soundtrack to everything that they do. I find more and more people looking for music to relax for. It's going to become medicine. African tradition says there's only 7 rhythms. And out of these 7 rhythms, 5 of them are healing rhythms. And they've been using music to heal the body for years, for centuries. The Asian community does the same thing. So I think that music is going to be used in a more scientific way. And I think it's only going to get larger and larger and larger. We're going to need more and more songwriters, better lyricists. And I think that the major companies are going to ultimately be broken down. Because more and more people will do business one-on-one. So I think the future is bright for music.
Good to hear. Very interesting.
Yay, music.
Excellent. All right. We'll go ahead and unmute people in case they want to jump in. And but if you do want to jump in, please turn on your camera or type in your question below, just in case any of you here, if we jumped over anything you want to hear a little bit more about or have a question, go ahead and fire it away. We've got a few minutes left of the broadcast. And if no one else jumps in, maybe...
Yeah, I can jump in because Alan, we met once or twice over the years at Medium very briefly. We didn't do any business together. But I think it's worth underlining how important it is to keep meeting people, as you said. And obviously Medium has had its problems, but everybody's had their problems because there's the MAMA in Paris. Everybody knows MAMA. It's a local business trade fair, but it also closed, of course. It might come back next year. All these places where you meet people, where you get an idea of the scope of the business, where you get an idea of the scale of the business are really, really important. And I don't really see that happening much anymore. And luckily Mario set up Music2Deal, so of course I can throw purple flowers in his direction. But I do believe it's important that these things take place and that we kind of get to understand all the different functions out there, the different styles of music out there. Alan's talking about like Christian music. I'm doing some middle of the road stuff for older people. All these things are valid, and many of them are facing the same problems. It's only if we talk to each other that we can actually see a kind of a path forward. End of speech.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for your contribution. Yeah.
I think that this platform here that Mario and Peter Fosso have put together is going to help all of us that are online today. And we need to do more of it. We need to meet as Music2Deal and just talk. Even bring new people to the platform and introduce them to the platform.
Yeah, does anyone here have friends in the music industry that don't even know you're on this platform? Because maybe they could join us.
Yeah.
I occasionally run the join thing on Twitter. I'm not too sure how effective it is, but I've done that occasionally. Do you know what I suggest, actually? Before we go, we should all put our addresses in the chat function.
Sure. Yeah. If you remember to save the chat, usually Zoom closes and no
like
one
business cards.
it, and it's in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can right click and save the chat once it's all there. Yeah, sure. Feel free to. Everybody can write their contact details in there.
It's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. And any other questions? Some of you might be muted, so you might have to unmute yourself. Mario, have we missed anything?
No, I don't think so. If somebody wants to talk, please let us know.
Yeah,
It's Richard here.
unmute One Nation for me.
I was just going to ask if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little bit more information about the stage it, please? Just a little bit more information.
Peter, that's you got that?
Yeah, he was asking about Stage It.
Yeah, I think, do you have that info?
I think is that the URL? I was asking about that earlier.
It's been running for quite some time already, Stage It. I'm surprised more people don't use it, but as Alan said, it seems to have been mostly used by kind of country people or kind of singer-songwriters a bit, yeah. But it's there. There's also somebody else. Was it? I got Requestify. Does that ring a bell with anybody?
Cool. That's cool.
Requestify. It's yeah, I know. It's not my idea. They seem to be starting to do something similar. Maybe I'll try and find it actually. But I think this has to be the future. This some sort of online concerts. I've got a friend in London who's doing mini musicals, like 2 rooms, 3 or 4 people, 4 or 5 cameras, and for 40 minutes you have a musical done live from London. And he's also charging about £10 per ticket for the moment. He's done a few of them, and he's going to go forward with that. So I can only see growth there, because it multiplies the number of productions that we can put together, rather than having like waiting for a show to go to Broadway or to the West End. You can now actually do a musical. Mm-hmm. And I've watched 2 of them. If it's well written, it works.
Yeah, very interesting.
Richard, did you get that info?
Yes, I did. Thank you for that. Yeah, I did. Thanks. I've got my son in the background, so I'm looking after him. So I'm jumping up and down helping him.
How old is he?
He's 5.
5, man. Put him on the screen. Let him talk.
Leo, do you want to talk?
Yeah, he does.
There you go. No, he doesn't. He'd rather go back to Roblox. He's just finished painting and now he's doing Roblox, whatever that is.
Okay.
So, Alan, will you be out for Medium if it is on next year in 2021?
I mean, if the government allows Americans to travel into France, you won't be able to keep me out. Yeah, I miss it. We have a Music2Deal dinner.
Yeah.
That now it's becoming famous. We started it out with about 10 people.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Yeah, and it has grown. There was almost 40 people last time we had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed a bit bigger venue.
Yeah. But it's getting, and out of that venue, so many people did business, because we had 2 different distributors there. Horace came in from the UK, and Sound Republica from Korea, and both of them signed up people right there. And people got deals, distribution deals worldwide right there at the dinner. And then
And pizza.
And pizza, good pizza.
Yeah.
Good pizza. Well, I didn't eat pizza. What did I have? Stromboli.
You can remember it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great experience.
Good times. Anyone else have a question or want to introduce yourself?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey there, One Nation.
Yeah, how y'all doing, man? I'm Brian Irby, One Nation Under Guide Records. This is my partner, Allen Johnston. Definitely had the support. Wanted to stop in and say hello. Great information today. Love what you're doing at Music2Deal. Need to really access my account a little more. My uncle always telling me, hey, go on to Music2Deal. So we're partners now, making some great moves, and really just, man, the music business. We make the business. It's not music business. It's business that we make music.
Yeah,
So,
it's a people business. It's
right,
music. Yeah.
right. I like one thing. One thing he said was, I don't do the same thing every day. So, you know, the authenticity, the work is different. So you don't never get bored. So, just wanted to stop in and say hello to everybody. Hello, what's going on, Mr. Durrell? And I'm Brian Irby. Nice to meet you.
Glad you could join us, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else want to make a quick intro or have a question?
Yes, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm hoping I can be heard. I guess I'm unmuted here. My name is Sinatra Onyewuchi. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a content creator. I'm between Atlanta and Alabama, in the film industry and music business behind the scenes. And I've heard of Mr. Johnston for years. In fact, I have some family members who have been recommending him for some time, and I've just been trying to kind of get things in order before making a formal introduction. So I'm grateful for this interview. This is a phenomenal interview here. I was trying to get off another meeting so I could hurry up and get to it when I saw the notification yesterday, and it's been very insightful. My question comes from a content creator perspective in lieu of this COVID-19 pandemic that's taken place, you know, all around the earth right now. What would be some of the steps that a multi-hyphenate would take, you know, to kind of set things up in this new environment where everything is so digital? And I guess I'm asking that because, you know, I'm in talks with people who are in the film business for funding of feature films, but then also people on the music side who have different ideas about what can be done to, you know, generate revenue to be able to support independent content. And I'm kind of torn in between a place where I don't want to necessarily rely on the system, if you will, to, you know, fund some of the creative aspects of what we do. But at the same time, you know, I do see a pathway where independents, you know, multi-hyphenates who can, you know, play instruments, write feature films, you know, actors, things of this nature, can produce on their own and maybe just kind of foot it, you know, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, if you will. And so I'm trying to figure out what would be some of the, you know, the best steps to take to set up for success.
Great question.
Okay, so I got to jump in, right? So Sinatra, first of all, that's a great name, man. You're built for success with that name, at least in the music industry.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Communication is completely the way that you need to go, with as many people as possible. I also want you to think about not necessarily making funds on every song the traditional way. There are endorsements, there are engagements. We talked about sync licensing, and if you're doing film, you already know a lot about sync licensing. But I would get out of I would add to what you're doing corporate events. Corporations need sync licensing for their products, their performances, their meetings. I have an attorney friend who was the lead attorney for Coca-Cola in Atlanta. And he told me that they're doing 1-year deals, paying 6 figures for a song, and Coke doesn't hold the rights to it after that. I had no idea that was happening. I thought that if you did a song for Coke, you made some money, that was the end of it. But they've created new situations. I also want you to think about the ability to have the deal you want. Think outside of the box. What do you really want? You want your song to be played many times? Then make sure that whatever deal you do doesn't have to be an exclusive deal. people need to pay for exclusivity. If you're doing a deal with a company and they want to do a commercial, see if you can change their exclusivity to 3 months or 6 months, whenever it's going to play, so that you can then take the song and utilize it in another platform. I did a deal with MTV where we took a song that was played, and the introduction of it was a reality show. The introduction of the reality show, and between each commercial break, and I did not take any upfront money. What I did in turn was, in the credits, put the name of the artist, the name of the song, currently available on Spotify. And our sales increased dramatically because we basically had a TV commercial running for us every time the show played. So I want you to think outside of the box for that. Finally, don't be afraid to do something and then take it to people you think would not ever want to hear it. Go to a school, go to education, go to a bank. Talk. That's where the money is. It's in the bank. Well, some of it is in the bank.
Other people
Go there and talk to those folks about how they can utilize your money. And don't, make friends with the tellers and all that, but you need the bank managers to work with you. You need to be able to create some other kind of things. Christmas is here now, and there's so many people that are not doing musical Christmas cards because they didn't think about it in September. They're really putting out musical, and you get paid per card because that's your song. I mean, I'm trying to give you some out of the box ideas here. Peter, do you have a couple? I just threw you in like that.
Yeah, I mean, a fellow Seattleite back where I'm from, you may have heard of Sir Mix-a-Lot. He had that song "Baby's Got Back." I remember, he kept all the rights to his own song, and Burger King called him and wanted the song, so they used it for their advertising, and he made just a ton of money off that one. I remember, bought a whole bunch of fancy cars, stuff with that, and another house, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's so different now, isn't it? In the industry, I mean, there used to be just so few ways that one could make money from their music, but now it's so fragmented and such a diverse world we live in, and so many opportunities that we do have to, like Alan was saying, think outside the box and be.
Yeah, I got a friend. His name is Charles Wright. He made a song with a group called the Watts 103rd Street Band. You wasn't even born then yet, Sinatra. You're either, Brian. The song was called "Express Yourself." He kept all his rights. Burger King picked it up worldwide. To Have It Your Way, "Express Yourself" is in the background. BMW picked it up. Mercedes-Benz picked it up. Now he's on Wendy's. I think all he does is sit home and wait for checks to come in. He hadn't had another hit record since. But that's all he needed, was that one really good song. And I think that also that's a problem. And what could be the problem? The problem is you get lackadaisical when you're making those kind of checks. I had Big Boy tell me from right here in Atlanta that all he had to do was make a record and they'd give him $10 million. He didn't have to do nothing else. And I found that it's truthful because he and Andre 3000 are making those kind of music, or have made it. But I found it difficult that he hadn't had another song since then. I think they tried to put out an album this year, or he did. but it hadn't done much of anything. And I think that happens because you became dependent on the money and your creativity slid downhill. When you're hungry, you'll come up with some great ideas because you want to eat. Anybody agree with me?
Oh, definitely. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Something else to think about, Sinatra. If you have equipment, everybody and their dog is doing kind of podcasts and things like that. Maybe there are people around you that could do with a kind of a studio setup for doing their podcasts because they can't do it at home. They don't have the proper microphone and all that. And you've got to just rent it out for $50 or $100 or something. I don't know whatever. But that could bring it. And because the thing I was going to say is, if you're not making enough money, that's because you're not meeting enough people, because money comes through people. It doesn't come through, Wi-Fi. So the more you go out there and do things like that, more people will mention you to other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Fair comment.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
Any other comments or intros?
My friend Peter Headley's been on this whole thing, hasn't said a word, but I know I saw him taking a picture and he's got all kind of notes.
Congrats, Alan. Very, very interesting and always informative discourse. Myself and Alan go way back. I've been blessed to know this gentleman, and I've got a couple of situations that through his kind auspices have allowed me to do better business for my audience, for my artists. So it's just a matter that, I don't talk to Alan every day, but when I do talk to Alan, this is the type of discourse that I'm exposed to. So it is just a warming to hear it being shared with other people.
Yeah, this is my island buddy here, Barbados, right?
Yeah, but I'm based in New York, but I'm from Barbados.
Music2Deal worldwide.
Yes, sir. I'm trying, Alan, my normal thing. I'm trying to get those people there to come into the new business and understand what's going on. But it's still the uphill battle. But we'll continue till I can get you to do one of these things in person there.
Oh, it's no problem. What I'm going to suggest right now before we get off is that Music2Deal do an online conference, utilizing the people from Music2Deal to talk to other folks. I want to put that idea in Mario's head. I got almost a smile out of him, so he's thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. That's fine. We will talk about it. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Because I want to grow this community. I really want to grow this community. The Music2Deal community is real professionals. And everybody's got some credentials. Everybody on this page has got some credentials. And that's what makes it wonderful.
Yeah, it's also great that we have local representatives like here Peter or Richard here. And by the way, we just have signed today a contract for Austria, so that we have also a representative now for Austria who cares about the local business.
Very good. Very good. All right, final question or intro. Richard's always interested in doing some interesting things.
Yeah, I've got a new one at the moment called chooseatrack.com.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, which is basically for older songwriters that I worked with years and years ago at Warner Chappell and at the BBC and various places. And they're now in their late 60s, early 70s. A lot of them have retired. So I'm picking up their songs and then trying to put them on a platform, www.chooseatrack.com, and then with the whole idea of that if people want to license those tracks out for 4 years, then they can for a particular price, and I'll take a percentage of that. But then the actual songwriter gets to keep their publishing 100%, because a lot of these songwriters I worked with in the 90s and the early 2000s, all the songs were reverted back from the majors back to them if they weren't used. So, but yeah, and looking forward to sort of carry on with the Music2Deal and pushing that a little bit further this year, or 2021, because I haven't had the best of 2020s health-wise. So yeah, looking forward to coming roaring back into it from January onwards.
Sounds very interesting. Yeah.
Richard, where are you located?
Well, actually, I'm looking after the UK and I'm looking after Malta, but I'm based in Cologne in Germany.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said, because I think some of those artists you are in contact with could utilize the services of our company, which would be a review of their contracts to see what they can get back, master rights and publishing rights.
Well, a lot of them have got all the rights back anyway, because after a certain period of years, obviously the rights were given up by the publishing company. So I'm looking on the publishing side, and most of them, if they did it in the publisher's own recording studio, they would also get those rights back as well. So in relation to that side, they're okay. So the site is there for new artists to buy songs from older songwriters. That's the idea, who have been signed up. And I always say, and it's a bit of a Clive Davis, this one, but once a good songwriter, always a good songwriter.
You're saying buy or license?
They can license it for 4 years for a period of money, and then at the end of the 4 years, if they want to relicense that song back, that they can.
Yeah, good question, Alan. I was going to ask that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, some people say buy, some people say license, but really it is licensing it.
Yeah.
But we have had one situation where somebody has actually asked to buy the song outright, which is another novel way of looking at it at the moment. That could be another way that I can use this particular platform. So at the moment, there's a couple of songwriters on Music2Deal that I've been looking at, because they look very, very interesting. There's a girl band from Germany who seem really, really cool. I love what they're doing. And I think when I was talking to somebody yesterday, it was like we all felt that Music2Deal is thoroughly underused because it's such a great platform, you know. And I know that you and Mario and myself have put a lot of work into it in the last, well, I think 17 years I've been doing this with Mario, so it's been a long time. But I really do think it can be pushed from next year onwards. Well, this year, obviously, from my point of view, from next year onwards, because I've not had a good year health-wise. So, I think 2021 could be good for everybody, not just with the COVID situation, but good with Music2Deal and good with people just getting their life back on track as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So I wish everybody all the best of luck that's come on here today. And I want to say thank you to Alan. Brilliant stuff, mate. Really enjoy it.
Hey, Richard, just a quick question. Just a quick question, Richard.
Yes.
When you say license the tracks, are you kind of licensing the backing track or just the right to use the music? Or
no, in actual fact, there's three options. You can actually take the idea of just recreating the whole song itself. So or I'm also asking a lot of the songwriters, will you give any of the original stems or any original files? But the problem with that is that if some of these songs were written in 1990 or 1988, then there's no stems left at all. So it's got to be 100% recreated. But there are various ways of doing it. Those that can offer stems and an instrumental version, just in case, will actually get paid a higher rate. So on the actual website, it starts off that if you want to buy a song for 400, or sorry, I keep saying license a song for 400 sterling, you can. And if you want to get one for 3,500, 4,000, you can as well. It's up to you.
Interesting.
But I started this on June the 1st, and within 5 days I was in hospital. So and it's been on and off since then. So I'd restart again on January the 1st. So I'm looking to do the two in conjunction with Music2Deal and really push Music2Deal next year. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great bands on Music2Deal. Right? It's like
I think many people on this call probably have a very good back catalogue as well. Actually, everybody has great songs lying around that weren't used for whatever reason.
Yeah, well, being an A&R man, which is my job, it's like I'm more than happy to listen to a load, and if you got stuff you think that might be able to be used, then just get in contact with me. I've sent my emails up there.
There you go, Alan. The deal done.
Yeah. Silverscope@btconnect.com, and I'll listen to loads and loads of songs, long songs. But the A&R comes back to me. It's none of this algorithm stuff. It's a real person. It's me that's listening to all the stuff and going through it bit by bit. And if you've got 50 songs, I might accept 2 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. There you go.
So that's the whole idea. It's an A&R based platform for artists that want to buy songs from songwriters.
Yeah, because one of the things, of course, out there is that there's so much music out there, but there are not that many filters.
There aren't many A&R people left.
Yeah, so it's you go onto a site and there's millions of artists and millions of songs. It's very tiring trying to find anything.
Yeah.
So if you're curating it, that's already different in itself.
Yeah, I was very lucky actually, because 25, 30 years ago when I started doing the A&R, well, 35 years ago, when I started doing A&R, I actually wrote down every single songwriter that I liked and the name of the tracks as well. I had them on I've still got some of them on floppy disks, if you can believe that.
Yeah. Going
back to the 90s.
Yeah.
I thought one day it might come in useful, and hopefully it will do.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So keep in contact.
Whatever happened to songwriters that wrote customized songs?
Well, I mean, everybody's a genius now. They don't need songwriters.
You really made my point for me.
In so many ways you can make songs these days. A friend of mine created a whole album in this last year. All she did was write some lyrics. And then I think through Fiverr and some other things, she hired all the musicians and singers and everything. And the final tracks are really good.
Yeah.
Fair play to her.
What? So, I want to remind people, by the way, if you haven't saved the chat, if you open the chat window and you click on the little 3 dots on the right, you can see Save Chat, and you can grab this just so you have people have entered their information.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Peter, because I didn't know how to do it. So.
I know, I never think of it, and I just thought of it now.
Thank you, I've just done it. Brilliant.
All right, any final words, Alan? I think you had some good final words earlier about our optimistic future, which is good to hear.
I think we've touched base on just about everything. What I do want to do, and I'm doing it right now, is putting all my contact information in the chat.
Oh yeah, and then
we'll
have to click on save again.
Yeah, so that you guys can keep in touch, man, because I like talking. I enjoy conversation with guys, man, because you never know. I'm a little upset that there's no women on here.
Women are underrepresented.
Yeah, I know, and we got to do something about that, man.
Yeah, I mean the invites went out to women too.
Yeah,
definitely.
I got a friend, Angela Lewis here, that's part of that artist launch situation I talked about, and she just made a Christmas song, a simple little ditty. I mean, simple. Repetitious lines, and it was picked up for a major motion picture.
Nice.
she would do wonders here, man. The kind of ideas she has are really phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to make a real strong product. Yeah. So I throw the ball back in your court, Peter Fosso.
Yeah, we recorded this call also, and we have to thank you, Alan, for this call, I would say. And we will put this this VIP chat also next week on our blog, and we will promote it also, and also with your addresses, etc.
Yeah, and other social media platforms. Thank you so much, Alan. Thanks for everyone.
It's my pleasure. I love this.
Thank you for everyone who's joined the call as well. And it's been fun. And we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe to the Music2Deal newsletter so that you'll hear about this in case that's the way you did or didn't hear about it. And
can I just ask very quickly, Mario, are you going to put this online so that people can see it who were unable to see it earlier?
Yes, it will be online next week.
Thank you. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you, Alan.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.